The Crit Show contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So I have been working with my 3D printer, and it jammed the other day, and I had to take the time and learn how do I take this apart and redo it? And there's a lot of little electronic parts and heating elements, and I was like, I hope I can get this back together. But I wanted to learn because I know that that's part of this whole thing, is that can happen. And I'm very happy that I got it apart, I got it fixed, I got it put back together, and it's working, I think, even a little better than it was before.
Oh, right.
That I rebalanced it better. And so to test it, I found a file that I wanted to print. And it made me realize I needed to show it to Megan, because she was saying how her favorite stuff is big things small and small things big.
Yeah.
So I printed this for myself to use kind of as my new pencil holder or whatever.
Oh my gosh!
That's awesome.
It is a tiny dumpster with her possum inside of it.
Oh, that's so cute.
My baby.
Yeah. So it's just a little dumpster.
I'm taking a picture.
That's
of it right
hilarious. I love
That's
that.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I've done in the past? I've never had to take apart a machine or anything, but I have moved apartments several times and had to assemble extremely complicated IKEA furniture. Take it apart and then move it and then set it back up. And what I've done, because I'm very type A, was I set up a tripod and I literally filmed myself taking it apart with
Smart.
verbal instructions of now I'm going to do this, and then I just watched the video basically in reverse and then reassembled it.
Nice.
That's
All right.
wild, because after I got done with the 3D printer, I was playing Fortnite with a couple people, and one of them was like, oh, I know a lot of people who, when they take apart electronics, they will take a picture of it and print it out and then just lay the bolts and stuff all where they come from.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just threw them all in a box, and then
God.
Yeah, that's what
that
I
frightens
do.
me.
I try to put them in the shape. I don't usually print out a picture, but whatever the shape they were in the thing, I'll put them in a smaller version of that shape. So I can be all right, this one's in the top left of my assortment of screws, so it went in that top left slot. I had similar one time, my sister had a TV that wasn't working anymore. It seemed like the backlight wasn't working, and I was like, I'm going to learn how to do some electronics. So I took it apart. I looked at all the things. I found a fuse that was blown. So I went to Radio Shack when Radio Shack existed, and I found the correct replacement fuse, and I brought it back and I put it in, and I got everything put together and I fired it up. Didn't work. Took the thing off. The new fuse had blown. So I did some more research and found out, it's this part that's soldered to the board or whatever. So I threw it away.
You got to know when to cut your losses.
That's right. Yeah.
Because it was when I made that decision of I'm going to take this thing apart myself and try to put it back together, I had also done the research that if I have to buy this whole thing new again, it's $50. I'm willing to risk that to see if I can fix it myself.
Yeah.
That's a big part of why I haven't taken apart my moped engine yet, is because I know I'm not going to take the time to document how to put it back together properly. And I think an engine really isn't something that you can kind of half-ass throw together.
Well, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to take a second to say it has been chaotic this month. I have not yet thanked the new patrons for the month of June.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
So I know.
June or July? No, June. We're in June.
So I will do June and July in August. My apologies, mea culpa. But oh boy.
We feel thanks. We just haven't said it yet.
Yeah, it's been, thank you. But without that panic behind
don't
it.
put that on it.
Yeah. Thank you.
There you are.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. And
Hi.
welcome.
Oh, not us. Sorry.
Well, you also. You're part
not
of everybody.
welcome.
I'm part of everybody.
Everybody is about the most umbrella term
Yeah.
that it could possibly be.
All right.
Welcome to this week's one-page RPG installment. This week we are playing a game called Dead Inside, which is something I reviewed on One Page Hot Take once upon a time. Found it on the One Page RPG subreddit. This is a game created by Dice Queen Die on Twitter, or DiceQGM on Reddit. This is it's called a game of microtransactions.
I didn't bring any money.
You will be charged 50 cents for listening to this episode.
But basically, you are all teens or young adults who work customer service at the mall when the zombie apocalypse breaks out. So we can just start right off with character creation. For this game, everybody's going to need a D4, a D6, and a D8. The first table, you're going to roll a D8 to determine your workplace and its associated perks.
I got a 2. So I work at Books and Bits, and the perk is specialty books.
Aw, hell yeah. I got goth topic. My specialty is spiky clothes.
I have Movie Max, and my thing is a reliable flashlight.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. So is Movie Max, we think that's the movie theater?
I would assume so.
Or is it like an FYE? Is it like a movie store? I mean, the fact that you have a flashlight.
Flashlight, so that people aren't making out.
Okay.
I love
Hater.
that 4 and 5 are anime roll, taco hole. They just...
That's my special attack. Okay, next everybody needs to roll a D6 for their extra gear.
I got 100% phone.
I have a grappling hook, inexplicably.
A knife!
No!
Is that really? Oh, that is an option. Okay.
Yeah, a pocket knife.
A pocket knife.
If those teens won't stop making out, we have to escalate.
I'm ready.
Next, a D6 for your outlook. How do you feel about the start of the zombie apocalypse?
Optimistic.
Gotta take charge.
We're all doomed.
Says the guy with the knife.
He just feels that way like day to day, and
Yeah.
that's why he carries the pocket knife. He's a very scared and alone man.
Yeah.
All right, so you have 3 stats: physique, know-how, and resolve. Physique is how physically capable are you. Know-how is do you know or notice something, and resolve is can you be brave or keep your cool. Each stat will have a die associated with it, a D4, a D6, or a D8. Your pick.
I'm going with physique is my D6, know-how is my D8, and resolve is my D4.
Physique is my D6, know-how is my D4, and resolve is my D8.
Physique is my D8, know-how is my D4, and resolve is my D6.
Okay. Everybody also starts off with 10 hope. Hope is both like a currency and a health track, kind of, in this game. I think this is where the game of microtransactions label fits in. So, the few mechanics for this. Rolling, whenever you need to do or avoid something that you can majorly fail, you roll the associated stat die. If it's something simple, you roll a 3. If it's normal, you roll a 4. If it's tricky, you roll a 5. You're trying to hit or exceed that number. If you hit the number or over, you pass. If you're below the number, you fail. That means both something bad happens and you lose 1d4 hope. You can gain a little bit of an advantage if you're using the right gear. That lets you lower the difficulty by 1. You can also spend hope on a roll. You spend 1 hope, you can re-roll your dice. That is once per action. You spend 2 hope, you can increase a die by 1 step. So a D4 to a D6 or D6 to a D8. And if you spend 3 hope, you can get an additional D6 to roll. For a good situation, your hope cost goes down by 1. For a bad situation, your hope cost goes up by 1. Seems like that's going to be really negotiable. What is a good or a bad situation? But when you hit 0 hope, you're still around, you can still do stuff, but all your stats become a D4. But ultimately, they go back to normal if you get more hope. But if everybody runs out of hope, that's when the game ends, and something terrible will happen. Or somehow you all manage to make it out safely before you lose hope, and then that's how the game ends, and you did a good job, at least until whatever happens with the zombie apocalypse outside of the mall.
Outside of the mall. We realized this was the safest place to be.
Yeah. And then there is an experience. When you and your pals accomplish something big, you gain 1 XP. You can use XP to buy more hope, which is a D6 plus 1 worth of hope, to reduce a bad situation, or to find new gear, which is rolling a d4. And if you roll a 4, you get exactly what you wanted. If you roll a 1 to a 3, you just get something else. Any questions over any of that?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Perfect. What are all your names?
I am Candace Sipinski.
I'm aging myself. I am Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway.
I'm Barry. This is for an audience of one. This character is entirely for Jake.
We find you all in your respective stores in the mall. How close do you imagine your establishments are? Let's say that this is like a 4-spoke mall. You know, it's got like 4 long corridors that all meet in a middle point. Where are you all relative to each other, do you think?
I mean, a movie theater's usually at the end of one of those because it's taller.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the end caps. I feel like maybe I could envision Books and Bits and Goth Topic to be in similar areas, especially if it's specializing in like specialty books. I don't know. It seems like they might put all the nerd shit in the same place.
Yeah, it's across the street from, I wanted to say Bento Box. What's the fucking like anime shit store?
Anime Roll. Taco Hole.
You're right. Yeah. Sorry. Never mind.
It's right across from the Anime Roll.
Yeah, it's across from Anime Roll.
Yeah, specialty books is a perk, but I think that's kind of like a small section within the bookstore. So this is just where people come in to get whatever the popular book is now, but if they want something specific, we might have it.
So are you like a small independent bookshop, or is this like the in-universe Barnes & Noble?
No. I think it's like, it's very small. That's why it's called Books and Bits, because the bits
Because they couldn't make a living off just books. And they
Yeah.
had to supplement.
Yeah, little tchotchkes, little novelties.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Ebony and Candace, I think you are at your respective counters, basically across the way from each other, watching the mindless customers, not literally mindless, not yet anyway, wander back and forth into and out of the stores carrying their bags, rifling through their purses and their wallets, trying to scrounge together enough change for more goods. When you notice one that looks a little bit more slack-jawed than the rest, kind of shambling down the hall, holding its hands out as if to grab at a woman who seems not to be paying too much attention. She seems like she is looking at something on her phone as she walks and is about to be grabbed by this sort of mindless-looking figure.
Based off of his description, I know what mall Jake grew up by. how he represents mall goers.
and like the era of malls that I grew up in also. And I spent a fucking tremendous amount of time at it because I was one of those high schoolers who that's what we did on Friday nights. But anyway, this person reaches out and gets a hand on this woman's purse strap. And she turns around as if thinking that it's like a robbery at first. But you see her eyes widen and you hear her scream.
I yell out. I don't actually leave behind my desk, but I yell out to her, Myth, are you okay? Somebody help! Security!
This also hits close to home because I had to go to speech therapy for a lisp when I was a little kid. Yeah, you call out and you see some people in your store like look up at you kind of with a start and then look out the shop at what you're gesturing to. Some people out in the hall look around as well. But you watch this woman kind of stagger back trying to pull her purse strap, and the figure isn't fighting the purse strap. It just follows it and chomps down on her arm as hard as it can.
I gotta take charge. I'm gonna leave the counter, which I don't know. I'm probably not encouraged to do that because there aren't a lot of people working at this Goth Topic. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave the register unattended.
Oh my, that's gonna be a demerit for sure.
Yeah, well, listen, they can just like take it up with me, you know, it's whatever. And I'm going to stride over in my very tall black platform Doc Martens. Excuse me, sir, I think you're not supposed to be doing that. So if you could just like remove your mouth from this person's arm, thank you.
As you walk over, giving this figure some attitude, he turns to look at you and you can see that his jaw is not hanging properly. It is not attached like it should be. His eyes are kind of glassed over. His shoulders are slouched. And the way he turns his head towards you is unnatural. And he starts to instead shamble in your direction. And past him, from the direction he came down the hall, you hear more screams starting. You can see people starting to run your way, and more of these shambling figures headed in your direction. Barry, from your position at the end cap, you can see just clean down this whole hallway. And you start to hear these screams. You start to see figures panicking, heading in your direction.
What's going on, guys? Everything okay?
Some lady got bit!
Oh, you want me to call someone?
Yeah, please!
Okay. I'll turn and go back into the movie theater. Hey, we need to call the ambulance.
What's Barry's station at this movie theater? Are you in charge?
No. I think I am.
He owns them all.
I'm Barry's Simon.
I imagine I'm an usher.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I got to go check the temperature and clean up after. Like you always see people come in and check the thermometer in the movie theater.
No.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. I just must not be paying attention to my movies.
Yeah, no, I'm watching the movie.
Yeah, there's always someone comes in, you see a little flash of light, and they're checking the temperature of the movie theater because it's got to be cold.
Never noticed it before.
Now you'll never not notice it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm
No,
going to
that's fair.
forget about this by the time this recording is over.
That's for the best.
Yeah, you yell out, and your manager marches over. He's like a 16-year-old boy. He's like marginally older than you, wearing a little bow tie and glasses. And he says, Barry, calm down. You're going to startle the customers.
They're already startled. They're running this way. A lady got bit. Call the no. Who do you call when people call animal control? Well, who do you call when someone gets bit? Hey, who? I'm going to turn back to the outside. She got bit by what?
As you turn back to the outside, you hear a shout from your manager, and you turn back around and you see that somebody has poked out from just like the velvet curtains that line the walls in the lobby for aesthetic and bitten him on the neck.
Oh, I'd take my knife out. I've been preparing for this my whole life.
Candace, you see this wave of what look like zombies heading in from the opposite end from the theater, from like the hub where all four spokes of the mall meet. And people panicking and running. The people in your store start fucking looting books, like instantly. And start whatever they were perusing, they're just shoving in their bag and a couple more for good measure and running out the front.
Hey, no, put those back. I'm gonna get in trouble. I want to take one of the carts that we have that we put books on and try and shove it to block the aisle. So they can't leave with the books.
Okay. I think this sounds like a physique roll. This seems pretty simple, though, so you're just trying to hit or exceed a 3.
1.
Okay. Roll a d4.
3.
All right, you are going to lose 3 hope.
Oh, boy.
As you try to shove the cart in the way to stop people, you crack a couple of them in the side of the legs, a couple of them trip over the cart, and fall splayed out directly in front of a handful of these zombies who just set upon them viciously.
Oh no. I'm sorry. You're supposed to pay for those.
You deserve this. This is what you get for shoplifting. We live in a society.
I'm looking at the zombies. I think they're zombies. I'm not sure. I'm going to grab an anatomy book off the shelf and just kind of flip through the pages and try and see if I can figure out what I'm looking at. Do they look sick or do they just look feral?
The way humans do sometimes.
Yeah, I like that. That's still an important distinction.
Well, there is a difference. If we're talking 28 Days Later versus Night of the Living Dead, there's a big difference in what type of zombies they are. What's going on? Is this a virus? Is this how is this exactly going on in their bodies,
Sure. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll know-how? I think this would be tricky, but you have specialty books, so that's going to drop the difficulty to normal. You're trying to hit or surpass a 4.
Oh, with know-how. Oof. 1.
Oh, God.
You can't always spend hope to re-roll.
That's true. You could spend one of your hope to re-roll your dice.
I should do that.
Okay.
7.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, you start flipping through your specialty books. The cart is just barely sufficiently stymieing all of these zombies trying to make their way into the store. But for some reason, they're just kind of Laurel and Hardy, like they're slipping around on the cart. They can't quite figure out how to get past it. One pushes it into the other, and then that one pushes it back. But you have a little bit of time to flip through your books. What sort of zombification do you want this to be?
I'm trying to get from this. Are they shambling quickly? Do they look like they're only being drawn to noise? What do I need to know to better put myself in a position to not get noticed by them?
I love that there is a section about this in an anatomy book. This is a huge part of Grey's Anatomy.
This is
hypothetically, here's all the ways we can think of where the dead might come back to life.
All right, fine. It's not an anatomy book. It's The Ultimate Zombie Survival Guide
Ah, yes.
by Max Brooks.
I was imagining that this was like one of those kinds of books that is written by an actual professional in the field who decided to have some fun with their thing. Okay. So from what you can observe, these are sort of your Walking Dead Walker-esque zombies, except they don't look like they've been dead for a super long time and are super rotten. They look like they're basically recently turned, still mostly intact people, but pretty mindless, drawn to smells, sounds, tastes, and not moving especially quickly. Ebony, out in the middle of the hallway, you've got this one who has its sights set on you. A handful of others are just assaulting people on either side of you, taking bystanders to the ground and chomping them up. What do you want to do?
I want to get out of here. I'm going to look at the item that I was scanning at the cash register before I just left it and took it with me. And it's a grappling hook from Goth Topics Batman Arkham Asylum tie-in merchandise promo. And I'm going to swing it and try to hook it on like a light or something and just see if I can like swing away from the immediate danger.
Swing away from all this.
Yeah, until I can't see any of it anymore.
Okay, this is certainly a physique roll.
Yeah.
How difficult? It's not simple. Is it normal or is it I feel like this is tricky.
I do have a grappling hook.
Yeah, so we'll drop it one step to normal. You're trying to hit or beat a 4.
Cool. 2.
Do you want to spend hope for a reroll?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay. And remember, you could alternatively spend 3 hope and get a whole additional D6. Or I think you could spend hope on more than one of these. Like, I imagine you could spend 4 to both get an extra D6 and re-roll your first die.
Well, luckily, I don't need to do that because I already re-rolled and I got a 4.
Okay. You swing your grappling hook and hook it onto one of the light fixtures that sticks out from the wall where they would, like, hang the novelty Christmas lights at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, from floor level, somehow you are able to swing up and away.
Don't worry about it.
Are you just trying to, like, get ahead of the wave, or are you trying to, like, end up somewhere above the throngs?
Somewhere above could be cool. Let's try that.
Okay, I think you land on the not Hollister, like, awning that they've built, the faux awning in front of this teen clothing and cologne store. And the smell is overwhelming up here. But you don't smell the kind of stench of death that is coming from all of these figures.
No, I just smell the stench of preps.
Yes. Oh, God, that's got to just tear you up. That's got to just tear Ebony up. And how unfortunate that they're in the same wing as you, you know?
I know.
Barry, your manager is struggling literally for his life. What do you want to do?
But he's already been bitten.
He has been bitten.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Barry out of all of us would be the most genre savvy,
Yeah.
I feel.
And I'm going to try and make my way past up into the projection booth. Tell me if this is too dark. I cut his throat as I go to put him out of his misery.
Oh my God.
Too much?
Would you, if you're genre savvy, would you think to slit his throat?
Yeah, to kill him so he doesn't have to go through like the pain of slowly being turned.
Oh, I thought you would stab him
Would you go for the brain?
Oh,
So he doesn't turn at
So he
all.
doesn't. Yeah. So just like the zombie is.
you know what? You're right. I'll stab him in the head.
Yeah. Let's
Less
escalate
dark.
it.
Less dark.
I don't know. Somehow, just because of the genre we're playing in,
Yeah.
it does genuinely feel less dark.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely going to be a physique roll, though.
Yeah. I have a knife.
You do have a knife. Would it be normal or tricky? A head stab feels tricky. At least I have to imagine your first one.
At least not.
Bold of you to assume this is his
At
first
least
one.
my first one, not in a video game.
Okay, so with your knife, we'll drop that to a 4.
Okay. 3. Okay, I guess I can't save him. I just keep running.
Okay. It's worse than that. Roll a d4. You're going to lose some hope,
Yeah.
and something bad's going to happen.
5.
On a d4?
No. 1.
Okay. lose your one hope. So you run by and you like weigh the idea of going for the stab
Yeah.
and you can't quite get your opening. So you just move past and run for the projector booth and you go to open the door and it's locked.
Oh.
And you see one of your coworkers peeking through like the glass window who has clearly beaten you to it and holed up in here. Candace, in your shop, these zombies finally break their way past the cart. And as they do, you see Ebony, who works across the hall, swing off on a grappling hook somewhere above you and vanish from sight. What would you like to do?
Just like the Batman.
I'm going to hide behind a bookshelf and try and tip it over onto them when they get close.
Okay. I feel like this is less about physique and more about resolve to keep your cool, be brave, hide, but time this attack out. So give me a resolve roll. I don't think your specialty books come into play on this one.
They're in the shelf.
They're being used.
They're very
They're
heavy.
heavy.
I accept. All right. Let's call it a difficulty of 3 then.
3.
Okay. You time it out just right. You tip the bookshelf over and you hear like the thud and crunch of this handful of zombies getting pinned underneath. And it also lands across the cart, creating a ramp that can get you up and out of your shop.
I grab my bag and I climb up that makeshift ramp and just keep repeating, I'm sorry, I love you, books. And I jump down. I try and run away.
No love for the people. I'm sorry, books.
Books are the only ones that are ever there for me.
Oh,
Oh.
man. Where are you trying to run to? As you head out, to your right is like the hub where you can see all of these shambling figures coming from, and they've now started to even advance past your store. Like they are in both directions, but they seem to be generally heading towards the movie theater. And you can see that on top of the awning of the clothing store next door, Ebony perches.
Broods. I'm brooding.
I want to hide in a photo booth.
Okay. I think that's going to be another resolve roll. That seems fairly simple, though, so we'll call that a 3.
4.
All right. You manage to run like 15 feet to your left and dive into one of the photo booths that's just kind of like in the middle of the hallway here. You get the curtains closed on either side of you, and you can hear all of this shuffling and groaning and moaning going by outside.
Am I making it up that in like what is the Woody Harrelson
Zombieland?
Zombieland? Is it the beginning of Zombieland where someone hides in a photo booth and the photo that comes out is just them slowly being eaten by a zombie?
That sounds very familiar.
Like it comes out and it's got blood on it and there's 4 images of them like
I don't know, but if it's not,
trademark.
it's ours. You can't have
Yep,
it.
we created that bit.
Ebony, you see Candace run out of books and bits and dive for cover into the photo booth that is just down and in front of you.
All right, I have an idea, but Ebony is going to hate it. I'm going to slip off of the awning and go into the Hollister with the serial numbers filed off, and I want to just start taking all of the perfumes and colognes and covering myself in it so that the smell will maybe mask my presence.
Okay. I think this is going to also be a resolve roll to infiltrate and stay safe while you do this.
Also, just to like...
Steal yourself against being in a not Hollister?
Yeah, against being in a Hollister and also covering myself in the bad cologne.
You're right. I think by nature of who you are and where you work, this has escalated to a tricky roll.
Yeah. I just made it worse. That's a 1. I'm going to spend a hope to reroll.
Okay.
That's a 5.
All right. That just gets it. you manage to secret yourself down and into the Hollister. You make your way towards the counter in sort of the back middle of the store. And as you get to it, a guy pops up who's wearing like 3 popped polos layers underneath a sweater, and he's holding a cricket paddle ready to swing it at you. And he's like, yeah, and then realizes that you're a normal living person, and he stays his swing. What are you doing in here?
I'm not dead. My makeup just looks like that.
Well, that's a relief.
I need some of your cologne. Not the one that you're wearing. Ugh, this one that you're selling. Like a lot of it. Like now.
He seems to, like, perplexed to interfere as you start ransacking the counter and taking bottles of cologne. What are you doing? What are you going to do with it?
This stuff is so gross smelling that maybe all of the dead things outside won't be able to tell that I'm alive.
That seems pretty rude, but so has everything you've said so far, so I guess it tracks. He starts just grabbing bottles and dumping them on himself, also hoping that your plan is going to work. Except he's also, like, posing in between. Like, he loves it. He's feeling himself.
He's not dumping it on himself. He's, like, spritzing it.
Like, he's walking through it.
He's spraying 1 spritz of each bottle and walking through it with his hands behind him and his chin held high. And on the 3rd pass of that, a fucking zombie comes out of the stockroom and just grabs onto his wrist with its teeth and starts dragging him backwards and into the back of the store.
Thanks for your help.
Yeah. Barry, at the door to the projection room, you can see your coworker who has clearly locked it and sees you and then starts trying to pretend that they didn't see you.
Yeah, I'm going to smash the doorknob with my trusty flashlight.
Okay. That's a physique roll.
Yeah.
I think that's probably normal, dropping it down to simple.
Okay. I'm going to spend a point to re-roll.
Okay.
I got a 1. 5.
Okay. You bring your trusty flashlight down on the door handle and crack it clean off and are able to push the door open. And your coworker's in there holding like a length of film, like a garrote, like between 2 hands, holding it out in front of him, like ready, like, hey, back off. Are you good?
Jerry, you're such a dick. I close the door behind me.
Why? Are you normal?
Yeah, turn on the movie. Make it real loud.
Why?
Because they'll come towards the sound.
That seems bad. We're in here.
But we're not in the movie theater. We're in the projection room.
Well, how are we going to get out if we bring them all into the theater and we have to get out of the projection room?
If they all go into the movie theater, the lobby will be clear.
Okay, so we're going to get them like so far in here that they're out of the lobby.
Like into the theater.
Do you know how many there are?
No.
I only saw like a couple, like people they started coming through like the emergency exit door down at the front of the seats. And...
Yeah, every second you yap, there's more.
Okay. He starts unweaving himself from the film that he's got wrapped around his hands and grabs a different reel and starts spooling it up on the projector.
Yeah, it's a B movie.
It's B movie?
It's a B movie or...
No, just a B.
Okay.
It's the sequel to the B movie.
the more generic B movie.
They got a Jerry Seinfeld sound alike because he didn't want to do the sequel.
It's a Bees movie.
A Bees movie.
He gets a Bees movie spooled up and playing, and you are able to crank the volume to be nearly deafening.
Excellent. And then I want to like go down to one of the other windows and see like how many zombies are in like the other theaters.
Okay. Why don't you give me a know-how roll? I think this will be difficulty 4.
Ooh. Okay. Is it any easier because I've got a flashlight to look for them in the darkness?
Sure. Yeah. Reduce it to a 3.
Great, because I'm rolling a D4. 4.
Okay. You start shining your flashlight around, scouting the other theaters as you walk down the length of the projection booth, and you see like open emergency exit doors in many of these theaters. So you can tell that they are coming in from not just like the main entrance, but from various places somehow. And you see some of them making their way back out those doors. But the worst part is that you see all of the bodies of the victims, and one by one, they are starting to stand and reanimate.
They're using the exit doors for entrances.
They're not supposed to do that.
I know.
Why didn't it set off the alarm?
Why didn't it set off the alarm?
I don't know, man. OSHA's going to come down on us for that one, probably.
I think we got bigger OSHA problems.
Out on the main drag in the photo booth, Candace, you hear all of these figures moving past you. You hear screams. You start to hear fewer screams and then more grumbles and growls. What do you want to do?
Can I see Ebony from here?
Yes, I think you peek out and look up to the top of the awning where you last saw her, and she is no longer there, but you can see her looking down deeper into that very store, just emptying bottles on herself.
I want to open the curtain just a little bit and yell out to her, "Psst! Ebony, over here!" And like wave my arm like in the photo booth so that she can see me without me coming all the way out of it.
Ebony, I think this is going to be a know-how roll on your part to see if you notice something.
Oh, God.
And I feel like this is going to be tricky because there are throngs of figures moving in between you, and Candace is trying to be quiet about it.
She doesn't have this as like an item, but like would the cologne help? Or is that something like she'd have to spend experience on?
I don't think the cologne would help her hear or notice you.
Oh, yep. Never mind. I was thinking about actually moving out.
Now, if you were covered in stinky cologne, that might give her an extra sense with which to notice you. And that might help,
her senses have got to be dead by now. Like, there's no way you smelling anything.
Just like my soul. I have no choice but to spend 2 hope because my know-how is a D4. So there's no way that I could get a 5 unless I do that.
Okay. So you want to spend the 2 hope to increase it by a step? Do you want to spend even more to get a whole additional die on it? That would be a 5 hope investment. I don't know how many you've got. Or it could just be the 3 hope investment. You could hope that the D6 plus the D4 does the job.
Yeah. I'm just going to spend the 2 right now. 2
Okay.
hope to increase my die by 1 step. Roll a D6. That's a 5.
Okay. Yeah, you finish dumping colognes on yourself, and you look up and you can see Candace trying to surreptitiously get your attention from the photo booth.
I want to grab a couple extra bottles, the ones that Popped Collar will not be using anymore, and make my way over to the photo booth.
All right, you grab those bottles as you hear him from the back room say, "My name's not Popped Collar, it's David." Ah!
It's pronounced Pop Caldur.
But you have essentially a river of zombies to cross to get to Candace. How do you want to try to accomplish that?
I feel like the best, most logical way is to grappling hook over the zombies and then drop down inside of the photo booth. That's the only way that makes sense.
Of course, yeah, in through the skylight of the photo booth.
Yeah.
Okay, this is absolutely physique and it is absolutely tricky.
But because I'm using a grappling hook,
it's reduced to normal, yes.
Yep.
This is normal for her.
This is how she traverses everywhere.
This is how I get to work
commute.
every day.
That's a 2. I'm gonna spend it. I'm gonna spend another hope to reroll. I'm just birding through this. That's a 4.
All right. You hook your grappling hook onto the framework under the glass dome that covers this part of the mall and manage to swing up and into the center and then drop down, crashing through the hatch in the top of the photo booth and landing next to Candace.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're okay. I mean, I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah. You're probably gonna want to put some of this on.
Oh, no thank you. When my shift's over, my mom would get mad if I smelled like that.
Yeah, well, you
I'm
might
not-
not make it back to your mom if you're not trying to mask your scent. And this is like the most powerful, grossest thing that I could find. It basically smells like you're already dead.
But Ebony, I'm not allowed.
Look, it's your funeral, I guess, literally.
How are we going to get out of here? I can't figure out what direction they're coming from. Do you think maybe if we get on the roof, somebody in a helicopter would save us?
I guess that's always a possibility. Do you know of someone with a helicopter?
Well, I think the government has some helicopters, and if they know that there's a zombie apocalypse, then they're probably going to come here, right?
The government has some helicopters.
I'm sure they're on their way right now.
Sure, but girl, if you want to go to the roof, we can go to the roof.
Okay. Do we know where the roof access would be located?
Where the
in this?
helipad of this
Yeah,
mall
where's
is.
the helipad?
Yeah, there is one of those like take refuge from a tornado hallways down by the movie theater, on the side of the movie theater, that has a stairwell that will lead you up to the roof.
Ah, yes, one of those.
Yeah.
Tornado shelter.
Beyond the Californian mind.
What are the stores in a mall that are in the big spaces that they're like, oh, we have to have these for it to stay in business? Like, there's a specific name for them.
It's not flagship
Anchors?
stores, is it?
An anchor store.
Anchor
yeah.
store.
One of the 4 anchor stores is a hospital. So they've got
So they see an opportunity here. They're shutting their gates for now. They need to let some people get bit so that then they can try and fix them and charge them for it.
Okay, let's get to the tornado shelter area. But I think we gotta go by the movie theater. I have an idea of how we can make a distraction.
Okay.
Now, when I take out my phone and play the song that I have downloaded, and it's a Thriller, and I slide it out across the hall to hopefully draw them in that direction and make us a path. My phone's at 100% because we're not really allowed to be on them at work, and so I used to keep it in my locker, but I had it in my backpack, so it's all ready to go. That should keep them busy for a while.
All right. First of all, each of you take 1 experience for having like gotten out of your work zone when the initial onslaught began.
Oh, hell yeah.
What role does Megan have to make to see if they do the Thriller dance?
I don't think there's any role necessary because there's no possible way I can allow that to not happen. You start playing Thriller and you slide your phone out under the curtain, and you hear a lot of like the moans and shuffles and groans start heading in that direction. And as you pull back the curtain, you see that they're all just kind of walking real slow, but every now and then in sync, they all do a little head snap to the side.
The shuffling sounds and the like scraping sounds, they all just start to sync up.
They all start to sound beautifully rhythmic.
Is this a flash mob?
Forming a perfect V?
Yeah, it is
Just like
a
birds.
super committed flash mob that has killed countless people so far. But they're like, it's got to be real. Art has got to be real.
But they are going to sell the hell out of the Thriller video game.
But yeah, you draw this wave that is near the photo booth, basically like over towards that Hot Topic entrance again.
Sorry, the what?
Oh, not Hot Topic.
Hmm.
But you draw this wave that is surrounding you basically over towards that Hollister entrance again. The not Hollister, the pseudo Hollister.
The Tom
We can't
Hollister.
say Hot Topic. We can't say Hollister.
Well, I was trying to say Goth Topic, which is the name of the store.
Yeah, but I just said the wrong one outright anyway. But it gives you an opening out the opposite side of the photo booth.
I grab Ebony's hand and start running that way.
Okay.
Kim and I always find opportunities to hold hands in any game.
Yeah, I'm shipping them. Let's see if they both survive.
Back in the theater, Barry, you see evidence of the dead starting to turn.
Jimmy, I'm going to go for help. And I've seen this in so many movies, and I think I can do it. I'm going to take my knife. So, holes in the wall, projectors showing towards the movie. I'll move one of the projectors out of the way. I'm going to get out the window and put my knife in the curtain and use that to slide down.
Amazing.
Oh.
Entirely thinking it will work. This is no judgment on you. What happens to me?
Yeah, I mean, this is... Fuck, what is this? This seems like it's everything. This seems like it's all 3 stats combined.
It seems physical.
I think it's mostly materially it's going to be a physical.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it seems tricky.
Yeah.
So you can reduce it to normal because you're using your knife.
Yeah.
Against all odds.
Yeah. 5.
Okay, inexplicably, you jump out of the projection booth, stab your knife into a curtain, and slide down like a pirate.
Yes.
And land. Where were you trying to land? Like near the hallway that leads out of the theater, or like at the top of the back row?
I think I would have to land at the top of the back row. Like I think if I'm keeping the knife in that big curtain, that I'm at the back. But where I want to go is to the front towards those open doors.
Okay. How are you trying to make your way there? You being sneaky? You just rushing for it? You trying to blend in?
Yeah, I think I'm just rushing. I'm just putting my flashlight out in front of me, just running like with it like a bar.
Oh my! It's a two-hander. I have not been picturing the two-handed Maglite.
Every time Rev describes this flashlight, I think it gets bigger and more threatening.
That is common among men.
It's
No. You gotta undersell. That way.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Under promise, medium deliver.
Yeah.
This is gonna be physique again. And there are dead starting to animate between here and there. So I think this is again going to be tricky, but you can reduce it to normal because you're shoehorning in your flashlight again.
he's just finding other flashlights and taping him to the one.
Yeah. I had that thought very early on. I was like, I should probably make this flashlight have a bayonet. Just take my knife to my flashlight.
Just one item to rule them all.
8.
Okay, like the rhino, you just charge through
Holding the flashlight at
on
my
your forehead. You charge through waves of zombies and bust through the emergency exit door and into that corridor where they all kind of spill together to lead you out of the building.
Freedom!
Back in the main hall, Candace and Ebony, you are making your way towards the storm shelter hallway by the theater. The crowd around you had thinned out a bit, the ones that could hear Thriller, and started moving towards it. But as you advance, you are getting back into a thicker wave of zombies, those who could not hear or were not distracted by the phone. How do you want to make your way through?
I'm going to just start also shambling and shuffling. I'm going to try to masquerade as a zombie to get my way through this group.
Okay. Candace, what about you? Are you following suit?
No, I think I grab a tray from the food court area. Like somebody brought a tray over here and to sit down at some tables, and I hold the tray up as kind of like a hiding behind it shield kind of thing and just take quick steps to try and make it through quickly.
Okay. So, Ebony, I think this is going to be a resolve roll to stay cool. Candace, I don't know what this is. Like, my first inclination is it simply doesn't work.
Yeah.
and you get attacked. I guess maybe it could be a physique?
I mean, the idea is I'm trying to get across quickly.
Yeah, and so this is sort of like a test of agility. This is still a physical capability thing. So give me a physique roll. So I think that Ebony's roll is going to be, it would have been a 5, but it's going to be reduced to a 4 because you used the cologne, and that's smart.
Cool.
Candace, I think yours is still going to be a 5. I think it's going to be tricky.
Okay. Oh, that's a 4. I will spend a hope to reroll that.
Okay.
I'm also spending a hope to reroll mine.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 3. I'm gonna...
You can't spend your hope to re-roll again,
Yeah.
but you could spend it for the other uses. You could spend 3 to get a d6 to this.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'll spend 3 hope to add a d6.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Okay.
I got an 8.
All right. So at different speeds, the two of you make your way into and through this crowd. Candace kind of leaping ahead, Legolas style. And so, Candace, you are the one who makes it first through the crowd and to the 2 big metal double doors with the crash bars that will swing into this large utility hallway. Are you just making your way straight in as soon as you get there, or are you waiting for Ebony?
I'm getting the door open.
Okay. You push the door open, and you see Barry spill out of one of the several emergency exit doors from the theater that also empty out into this corridor.
Ah! Are you a zombie?
Are you a zombie?
I asked you first, and I think the fact that we can ask each other questions answers the question.
Okay.
As you are interrogating each other, Ebony manages to shamble out of the crowd behind and into this hallway with you.
Ah, zombie!
No.
No,
That's
I
just
just
how
look
she
like
is.
that.
That's just how she sounds.
Oh, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I think if we get to the roof, then maybe a helicopter will save us.
Oh, the roof. Then we'll be trapped up there.
But the zombies are down here.
Well, the zombies are inside. Let's go outside.
Well, the zombies had to come from somewhere.
We don't have a zombie store, do we?
We got that creepy hospital.
It's canon now.
Okay, let's go outside, and then if there's still zombies, we'll come back inside and then go to the roof.
Okay.
Plan?
Deal.
Sure.
All right. Everybody take another point of experience for making it to the safety of the shelter hall here. You all rush down this hallway to the doors that lead outside, and you push them open, and you see a fucking parking lot completely full, toe to tip, with zombies who, at the sound of these doors crashing open, all start to turn slowly in your direction, like,
Close the door, close the door, close the door.
Yep. I close the door.
You close the door, and outside it, you hear shambling heading your way.
Yes, to the roof.
I want to spend one of my experience to find some new gear.
Okay, what are you looking for? What are you hoping for?
I want something that I can jam in this crash door.
Okay.
Like whether it's another flashlight or a crowbar or a broom handle, something.
All right, roll a d4.
4.
Okay, you find exactly what you want. I think actually the simplest solution, you look around and you see like the little key ring that's got the key that can lock
Like
these
the little
doors.
Allen key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lock it.
I also want to spend a point of experience to find some new gear, and I'll spend one to get some more hope as well.
Okay. Roll your d6 to get your additional hope.
I rolled a 3 plus 1.
Okay, so you get 4 more hope. And roll a d4. What are you looking for?
Like a flare gun.
Okay.
Gotta signal that helicopter somehow.
Yeah.
2.
All right, so you do not get what you want. You get something different.
Get what you need. I'm sorry.
That'd be great.
That's even better.
Yeah.
I think you can see like the miscellaneous detritus that people who tried to rush out these doors before you dropped. And somebody clearly paid a visit to the sketchy fireworks store that's like not a permanent installation. And they dropped a couple of like the mortar fireworks.
I love her. I love that. I love that store owner. That's my mom. I refuse to work there, and I work at the bookstore instead.
Your mom, who runs the sketchy fireworks store, also would be mad if you came home smelling like cologne.
Yeah.
She's a complicated.
She said gunpowder or nothing.
I'm going to spend an experience point to get more hope.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, so I get 3 more.
Okay.
And I'm also going to try to get more gear. I'm looking for like a lighter or something that can produce flame.
All right. Roll your d4.
That's a 4.
Okay. You do. You find. Do you want like just a conventional little lighter, or do you want like one of those long stem lighters?
Let's do a long stem lighter. That seems moderately safer if I'm trying to light a firework.
Okay. With renewed hope and new gear, what's the plan?
Get to the roof.
Okay. Yeah, the alcove that leads to the stairs is just right off this hallway. You can see that in the time you have been considering and also attracted to the sound of those doors crashing open, some zombies are starting to head in from the mall. They have noticed where all of you are and are starting to just kind of like put enough of their force into the doors to shove them open enough that like kind of one by one they start spilling through the gap. But you get into the stairwell and start to rush up. When you get to the top, you can see that there is a red metal ladder that leads up to a hatch above. But it does look like the hatch is padlocked.
Good thing you got that key ring.
Right?
Yeah, you climb up, and I think it takes a couple of tests with some of the keys. And as you work on that, you hear some of the zombies starting to make their way into the stairs.
I'll get this unlocked. You guys fend them off.
They are like 2 stories below you for the moment, so it's a fairly safe fend them off if there's anything you want to do.
Yeah, dude, we got your back.
I throw my bag down the stairs at them.
Take that!
I got him.
Give me a physique roll.
Oh no.
This is simple. It's only a 3.
2.
You lost your specialty book. They were all in your bag.
I'll re-roll.
Okay.
2.
Some things are meant to be.
Do you want to spend any more hope?
Spend 3 to get another d6.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
1.
Oh,
So
my God.
3.
Yeah, you get to the 3. So, yeah, you collect your essentials from your bag and then huck it down the stairs, and you just nail the one in front in the forehead, and it tumbles backwards and takes the rest of the crowd behind it like bowling pins down the stairs.
I'm gonna outlive everyone.
But Barry, you get the hatch open and sunlight does stream in from the rooftop.
Like hell you are, I say as I lock it behind me.
Heel turn!
Kidding. Yeah, I push it open and reach down to help them through.
Okay.
Nice.
You all make your way out onto the roof of the mall. By and large, it's sort of barren. It's just that kind of like black, almost asphalt-esque surface up here. There are like the air conditioning units, some ventilation shit around, and the glass domed windows that kind of cover like the middle stretch of each of the 4 spokes of the mall. What are you doing?
We're gonna fucking cook up here. I just realized how hot it must be on this asphalt.
At noon, the dome gets really beautiful as it refracts all the sunlight in every direction. People come from miles around to see it. It fries pigeons out of the air.
I feel
And
tingly.
Ebony without her like Lydia Deetz and Beetlejuice-esque like veil to put over her head.
Yeah, you walk out, you burst into flame instantly.
Yeah.
Is it safe to assume, based off of the skills we have seen these zombies exhibit so far, they can't climb a ladder?
We haven't seen any of them climb a
No,
ladder.
we haven't seen them.
Like, just
Give me a know-how roll.
okay.
Ooh.
What level is that? Is that normal or is that tricky? That seems like something.
He's a cinephile.
But this is his observation of these zombies
Yeah.
so far. I think that we could still call it normal because it's drawing from your movie knowledge on
Yep.
what you might have noticed,
Yeah.
like peripherally.
I think I'm gonna spend 2 to increase my die.
Okay.
2. I guess I will spend 3 more to add a d6 because this seems important to know.
You could also just spin the 1 to re-roll that die. I think you still get that die.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll do that
Do
first.
that one first.
I mean, I'm not trying to talk you down. Go
Yeah.
big or go home.
1. So I will spend
Okay.
Oh no.
Come on, Barry.
2. So 3 total, which I think
Is not enough.
is not enough.
Oh yeah, you were trying to determine.
The
Yeah.
zombies could climb a ladder.
Could have just
They
watched.
love it.
It's their favorite thing to do.
Yeah, man, you're super confident that there's no way they're making it up the ladder.
We're safe up here.
Oh, and also roll a d4 and lose some hope. After you spent 6 on a single roll.
Do you have any hope to lose?
I do. I no longer do. Now I have
Oh.
0, so I want to spend my last point of experience, I suppose, to get some back.
Okay.
I rolled a 2.
All right, so you get 3 more hope.
Okay.
I just realized something.
What?
We're gonna have to wait until it gets dark to light off this firework. Otherwise, nobody's gonna know where it came from.
Is the helicopter here? I'm going to look over at the
At the helipad.
at the hospital's helipad.
If we say it quickly enough, he can't counteract us.
I
Rev's
go over
the
and
one
I
who
get in the
edits this,
pilot
so we're gonna
seat.
keep it.
Yeah, I edit this.
We just got to get it on the mic. Get it on the mic. Get it on the mic. And I'm like, no, damn it. The hospital's chopper is not present.
You have to say the mall hospital.
The mall hospital's chopper is away right now. But somewhere in the distance, you do hear the sound of helicopter blades.
Well, like, even if they wouldn't be able to, like, see the firework, they'd still be able to, like, hear it and see smoke, right?
Yes, they're close enough.
I hear one. I don't see it, though.
Okay, well, let's light this off then.
Cool. I'm gonna light the firework.
Okay. I don't think there's a roll necessary for that. You light this mortar and you hear the thump and then a couple seconds and then just a deafening explosion overhead and light cascades in every direction like blue and red and green. And it's one of those ones where it does its little arc and it all disappears and then all the little crackles and pops happen at the end.
Yes.
I fall over.
You fall over, and as you try to right yourself, you hear the hatch behind you swing open.
Oh, good. More survivors.
Logic.
I know they can't climb.
But after this explosion, you all hear those helicopter blades getting louder, and you see it come from past the tree line at the edge of the mall's parking lot, that a helicopter is indeed veering in your direction. What do y'all want to do?
Run down the spoke that pointing in the direction of the helicopter, try and get as close as possible and as far away as possible from the hatch that is opening up.
Yeah, follow.
I want to, with my big spiky boots, like stomp on the hatch and then wrap my grappling hook around it to like lock it in place or like tie it up so that maybe they can't get through the hatch.
Okay. I don't think this is as much physically taxing as it is, can you brave through it? So give me a resolve roll. I think this would be tricky, but I think we can reduce it because of your special spiky clothes.
7.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to stomp it down enough to deter them and get them to kind of like fall back in. At most, some like fingers and hands are still sticking out as you tie it off and get the zombies restrained inside. Without the threat of them following you, I don't think there's any roll necessary as you all run down this spoke of the mall as the helicopter swings in and like comes to a stop, hovering, just crashes into the mall.
I think the thing that breaks my heart the most about this being a podcast is that the audience never gets to see the one time every month where I break Jake with a pantomime joke.
And it's great because the way we're oriented, I'm not looking directly at you. You're just
the peripheral.
Yeah, just in my peripheral vision, and I'll see something, and I'll look over in time to see like the resolution.
Rev's got that MFA though. He's so good at space work. It's just you can't help but see him.
No, it kind of like swings in sideways and hovers near the edge, and there are a couple of people, what look like military folk, like leaning out the door, holding out their hands for all of you.
It's my mom, and she's like, I'd recognize that firework anywhere.
I'd recognize that expert craftsmanship. But you are all able to jump and grab onto these figures who help you into the helicopter, and they start yelling to the pilot, who immediately pulls up on the joystick and starts to fly you off and away. And below you, you can see just the throngs of zombies in the parking lot, finally breaking their way out of the hatch, spilling onto the roof, having completely overrun your cherished place of work.
So, like, do you think we're going to have to go into work tomorrow, or...
Great work, everybody, on surviving
Yay!
At least part of the zombie apocalypse.
I'm sure it was just isolated to the mall.
Yeah, it's just a sickness in the mall. The hospital will get it contained.
We'll fly somewhere else.
Fly to a different mall.
Yeah.
The soldiers like, don't worry, we'll get you new jobs.
At one of the branches of your existing stores.
So well done. Thank you guys. And thank everybody for joining us this week for Dead Inside. Again, you can find that Dice Queen Die on Twitter or DiceQGM on Reddit in the One Page RPGs subreddit. And join us next week when Kim runs us through I'm a Lover, Not a Fighter.
The Crit Show is a Crit Show Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.